G'day punters and welcome to Betfair Spruikers Rivalry Round edition. I think it's still called Rivalry Round. Michael Sharkie, the
Say that
agent,
5 times
thelastwordracing.com.au.
Go on, there's a challenge for you. Rivalry Round 5 times 5.
Underwater with a mouthful of marbles. It being Rivalry Round, I was going to ask you to punch on camera, but I think you've probably got me covered, so I won't.
Yeah, that'd be the end of that. Yeah.
Just before we get into the line in the sand round and everything involved therein, let's say g'day to a rather green around the gills, Matt Edwards, for the news in the AFL this week.
Thanks, Jake. Geelong forward Matthew Stokes has escaped conviction after pleading guilty to 1 count of drug possession in the Geelong Magistrates Court. Stokes has been placed on a 12-month good behaviour bond without conviction and must pay $3,000 to the Geelong court. He will be eligible to resume with Geelong's AFL side in round 8. The Bombers have been dealt a double blow, losing defender Tate Pears and forward Kyle Reimers ahead of Saturday night's clash with rival Hawthorn. Pears broke his arm in Essendon's Anzac Day loss, while Reimers fractured his hand. Both will be sidelined for around 2 months. The Crows' injury troubles continue, with forward Patrick Dangerfield to miss up to a month with a broken left wrist, while teammate Chris Knights will spend some time on the sidelines after battling a stress fracture in his foot. And St Kilda defender Zach Dawson will get another crack at Western Bulldogs forward Barry Hall on Friday night. Hall kicked 7 goals on the defender in the NAB Cup Grand Final, but Saints coach Ross Lyon has put his confidence behind Dawson. And that's the latest footy news. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Nat, and thanks for just being here. She obviously got off her sick bed after I don't know what happened on her girly weekend last weekend, Mick, but trooper, Nat, good on you. I would have thought some pillow fights would have been involved, definitely. Right, rivalry round. Let's kick off with the Friday night game between the Bulldogs and the Saints. I reckon a week ago, the odds may have been switched around here on Betfair. The Doggies are favourites 181 and St Kilda 220.
Big value at 220.
Yeah, I mean, I know Port had their measure last weekend, obviously, but St Kilda, it's just, they're so hard to score against. I don't think they should ever be, too much further than even money. Granted, they're only 220, but I think that's pretty juicy odds. And Mick, I believe that you agree with me.
I do, indeed. Wholeheartedly, in fact.
You're all over the Saints here, aren't you?
Yeah, all over them.
No Rewalt. Cozzy really out of form.
Cozzy will just fire up. He'll just fire up this week.
Really?
I hope so, because I backed him for the Coleman, so he better get his ass into gear at some point.
Terrific. Check out Betfair's Coleman Medal Market. It is the best in the entire marketplace.
Probably get about $1 million to 1 now, Cozzy, so it might be worth $1 on that.
I would have thought so, absolutely. Your mob North had a good weekend last weekend against Hawthorn, a good win. They're taking on the old conquering Demons, though, this week.
I do believe I stuck fat last week and said they were the upset contender of the round. And
you did.
In fact, there were a couple of upsets, but at least they got the chocolate. So
I think I tipped every favourite,
right.
And so I got about 4 in the tips. That was pretty ordinary. Look, I think the Demons are just about good things here. I think they're the up-and-coming side of the competition. I know they'll probably, fall flat, or not fall flat, but deflate slightly at some point. You're pretty keen on North,
yeah,
I believe, in an Oz multi.
Yeah, definitely. With the Saints.
The Saints.
Kangas.
The Kangas. And who was the other one?
Hawthorn.
Hawthorn against Essendon. Well, I can guarantee you that, let's move to that game. After watching my mob Essendon last week, I can tell you that Hawthorn are absolute morals.
Pretty ordinary.
Lay Essendon in every possible market you can find on Betfair, because line markets, margin markets, whatever the case is, Hawthorn will win and win convincingly. I don't care if they don't have a ruckman, whatever. Essendon have no spirit, therefore.
I think the mighty Salesian St Mary's reserves might have knocked them off last week if we took them on. So if the Bombers want to come down to Ferndale Park for a bit of a pracky game during the week, we'd take them on.
Good plug there by you. The Bombers couldn't knock the froth off a cappuccino at the moment. They are going that poorly. Hawks are morals. Carlton Collingwood, I reckon this is a very interesting game. Again, a week ago, you probably would have expected Collingwood to go in very firm favourites, and I suppose they are, but having beaten the reigning premiers last week, Carlton at 258 seems a bit of value to me.
Yeah, worthy of respect. Yeah, they were terrific last week.
Collingwood have a very hard-working side, a very hard-working midfield, and Carlton may have the edge in class there, but Collingwood's pressure is something that gets them across the line every week. I'm not totally convinced about Collingwood. I just think purely because of the inferior opposition they came up against last week.
Are they a front-running side?
I don't know about that. I'm not sure, but an interesting one. And finally, another interesting one, I think, where the odds should perhaps be a little closer together is the Derby in Perth, as we would call it, the Derby on the eastern seaboard. West Coast 305 and Freo 147. Freo should win, but I think West Coast, possibly the value of the round there at 305. These games can always go either way.
Well, it's hard to be certain about Freo previous season. So just because they're in a bit of form, $3.05, that's big value again.
Correct, Wade. Mick, before we can give the punters your very best of the AFL round 6, let's hear from Nat. I think she's okay to speak to us now. Is she, Nat? Let's have your Betfair Big Spruik, please.
The Betfair Big Spruik.
Alrighty boys, this week I'm going to go for an Oz multi. Port Adelaide to beat an injury-riddled Crows, Geelong to smash Richmond, and Freo to get over West Coast, and I'll just put the Hawks in there to take out your Bombers, Jake. I think that's paying around $5.60 at the moment. And I'm not sure if we do have a market on this, but if we did, I'd be backing Campbell Brown to take the first swipe in the line in the sand games. Go Hawks.
Thanks a lot, Nat. Speaking from your heart, as is usually the case about Campbell Brown, I would urge Campbell to get a kick, I think, first and foremost, and a giggle in the background there as well. Terrific. Mick, you gave us your Oz multi best bet before. Can you just repeat that for the punters out there, please?
Yeah, we're going to back St Kilda. These are all head-to-head. We're going to back St Kilda to win over the Doggies, Kangaroos over Melbourne, and Hawthorn over Essendon.
Well, if my mathematics is correct, and it's usually very, very accurate.
Human calculator.
That's right. You'll be getting about human abacus, they call me.
Okay, abacus.
You'll be getting about $7 about the Saints, Kangas, and the Hawks.
Juicy.
I think the Hawks are the morals of the round. I think you can lay Essendon, as I said before, in every conceivable market on that match. But I think Port Adelaide are also a good thing. So Port Adelaide at $1.63 on Betfair. It's a better price than you're getting anywhere else, and I think they are my Betfair Spruik of the week. Michael Sharkie, thank you very much for joining me again this week.
Jake.
Punters, good luck in rivalry round, and we look forward to catching up with you again next week.